diving. Hope comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Happy Labor Day. How you doing? It's Monday. Go Monday. I know not all the countries, but in the U.S., it's Labor Day. It's a national holiday. What is Labor Day all about anyway? Who knows? It's for those who labor. For me, it's just a regular Monday. Nothing different is going to happen today than any other Monday. Still gonna do the same stuff. All right. Did Monty Man show this morning? It's always a good time. Of course, doing the live now. I'll go to my home group. The only difference is my wife is here. That's the only difference for me today. But I hope you're having a good, safe holiday. And a sober one, too. A sober one at that. All right. Today we're talking about willingness to grow. And, yeah. Sorry if I seem distracted. I don't mean to be. Here, I'm going to mute for a second so I can blow my nose. All right. That's a faux pas. You're not supposed to do that while you're... I don't care anymore. What's going to happen is what's going to happen. But we're doing today's daily reflection. Looks like we're going to be in, as Bill sees it, as a grapevine letter. A letter for the grapevine. The grapevine letter. Huh. So, all right. We don't have anybody here yet, but let's go ahead and get started anyway. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name's Dion. Well, everybody's probably in their noon meetings and stuff right now. And out of town. If you're here, please say hello, whether you are watching the live or the rewatch. So, all right. So it looks like we're going to be in, as Bill sees it, page 8. Page 8. Let's do it. A new life. Is sobriety all that we are to expect of a spiritual awakening? Oh, no. That's just the beginning. That's just the start. What we're talking about the obsession being lifted by God. That's what we're talking about in that one. Or maybe a spiritual way. Who knows? Maybe it was different for you. It could be. Who knows? Maybe that wasn't the first spiritual awakening for you. But I've noticed that it's usually the first one usually is. Maybe your experience is a little different on that, right? And, yeah, let's just get to the next line, see what we got here. No, it is only a bare beginning. It is only the first gift of the first awakening. Right. Well, as I dropped the book, I got it. If more gifts are to be received, our awakening has to go on. And how's our awakening going to go on? Well, this is going to be the work that we put into the program, your meetings, talking with other people in the program, helping people out. Heck, you can get a spiritual awakening out of going around and pouring coffee in people's cups. You can. Yeah. It's usually getting out of self that these awakenings happen. It's when I remove myself from the playing field in this situation that the awakenings start to happen. It is when I get too caught up in my own head that things start to get muddled and other things, right? So as it does go on, we find that bit by bit we can discard the old life, the one that did not work, for a new life that can and does work under any conditions, whatever. And we need that, don't we? We need that. We need those conditions. We need to be okay under any condition. And why is that important? Well, because I do not have a mental defense against sometimes I will not have a mental defense against the first drink. So I'm pretty sure God still steps in every now and again and stops that from happening, because he knows that's not what I want. I don't want to drink. Well, let me put it this way. I do want the effects that are brought on by alcohol, kinda, but I don't want any of the consequences. I'm not willing to take any consequences from drinking anymore. I'm not willing to do. Right? Now, we stay sober a day at a time. It's how we do things. You don't have to think of this as a forever thing. I found that most of us get to a point where, like, not drinking the rest of my life, just the sound of that doesn't bother me anymore. Because I don't want to. So actually, it sounds kind of nice. Oh, you mean I don't have to ever drink? I don't ever have to feel that way ever again? The shakes. Remember the shakes, the sweating. Maybe you didn't get to that point yet. But if it's a yet, it's a yet. That might be a good. I'll write that down. It's a good title for a live. The yets. What are the yets? And what are the yets? I'll just tell you real quick. They're everything that you haven't experienced yet. And you're not required to. You are not required to go through all of this. Let's put it a different way. All right. Because we hear the words rock bottom a lot. I'm going to tell you now, it doesn't exist. There's only one trap door after another till death. You're either going to find a way to get sober and live a life of recovery, or you're going to die from the disease. I mean, we're not given many options. But rock bottom does not exist. Only your bottom exists when you have decided that you have had enough. Okay, we have got to stop creating qualifications to sober up. Okay, this is in the clinical world. That's what we would call barriers. That's what we would call barrier. And you and I are here to remove those barriers so that people have a better chance at recovery. They have a better chance at finding themselves, finding God, bringing the people into their lives that they deserve to have in their lives. Of course they do. Everybody deserves to be wanted and needed and loved. Everybody does deserve that. I believe it. And if it means that I'm going to provide it, then I'm going to do what I can to provide it, man. Yeah. Regardless of worldly success or failure, regardless of pain or joy, regardless of sickness or health or even death itself, a new life of endless possibilities can be lived if we're willing to continue our awakenings through the practice of AA's 12 steps. How willing are you to go to? There's always more. I'll put it that way. That's what I have found. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and better. I'm talking about my fellowship here. Yeah. Now, will my fellowship one day be huge? I don't know. Isn't it already? There's 2 million people in Alcoholics Anonymous. See, as soon as you enter AA, you have gained 2 million friends. You can go anywhere in this world and you're going to find one of us. Wear a shirt around that says, I'm a friend of Bill W. Watch how many people approach you. In fact, I think I'm going to order a shirt today. Maybe. I think I'm going to get a shirt that says, I'm a friend of Bill W. I'll wear it around. See what happens. All right. Maybe I'll put a QR code on the back to OIAA meetings, to online meetings and stuff. I just have these different, all these different QR codes on your back. There's people constantly walking up behind you, scanning your back. I think a lot of people would like that, but I would find it enjoyable. I think it'd be a neat way to have people approach you. Maybe I can go set up a table downtown and just put up signs that say, I'm a friend of Bill W. and see who approaches it. Who's Bill W? What's this? What's that? What a great way to start a conversation, man. Yeah. I'd even be willing to put my social anxiety aside to do something like that. That'd be fun. Got invited to it's called Came to Believe, and what these guys do is they teach you how to take somebody through the steps in about 2 to 3 days, right? Because that's how it started in the beginning. That's how it worked, and it's not something that I have experienced myself. And I was invited by Roger and Monty Man in November to go to the conference. I'm like, I really would like to go, but I said, but I don't have the cash flow. And you know what they said to me? They said, Dion, that's not a barrier you need to worry about. I'm like, oh man. It just, I don't want somebody paying my way. But when people are like, I will go ahead and help pay your way because we want you there. Wow, that's a new life for me, man. There it is again. People want me around. It's weird. Do you go through that too? Oh, nobody's here. Yep. I hate to say it, but that number is still saying 0. It's been a long time since I blanked out, but it's Labor Day and in the middle of the day. So if I would have done this on when I usually do it, I bet we would have had some people. But yeah, I hope you're at meetings and stuff anyway. Hope you're not out drinking. It's part of the problem with Labor Day. We lose a lot of people on this weekend. Not as much as Mother's Day weekend, though. Mother's Day weekend is actually the highest from what I have seen. I do not have proof of it, but from what I've seen, Mother's Day is the highest relapse weekend. All right, because Mother's Day is in what, January, February, March, April, May. Think about it. When do people? The biggest relapse times is usually between 90 days and 6 months, because that's when you really start feeling better. That's when the program starts taking effect. And then Mother's Day falls right into that. Well, excitement is what gets them. Yeah. I tend to, not for myself, but I tend to fear the holidays a little bit because I know that we're going to lose some people, which is kind of tough. We never like to let that happen. I don't think I've met anybody that I was glad that they weren't in AA anymore. I don't think I've been through that. Sure, a lot of people annoy or irritate me or whatever, but at the same time, they're just as much, why should they not be there? What did I say earlier? Everybody deserves to be wanted, needed, and loved. Yeah. Don't keep searching. Don't give up. Maybe you're a chronic relapser like I was. Right. So I was in detox 22 times in 2 years, and I shit you not. It's still hard for me to believe, but a counselor confronted me on it. That's the only reason I know. I didn't keep track. I was just trying to get sober. I kept going there asking for help. Right. And it took me 2 years to get out. But I found I found another addiction in relapsing. I got addicted to that frothy emotional appeal or that hope that starts in the beginning. Right? Kind of like the song by the Eagles, After the Thrill Is Gone. How, you got into a relationship and there was a lot of thrills in the beginning, and then those begin to fade away. So what do you do after the thrill is gone? Well, in this case, what did you do to get that spiritual awakening? What did you do to gain that spiritual experience? Do it again. Okay. When things don't seem to be going right, that is when we ask for direction. That is when we start to we start to look outward for answers, right? So we ask for direction, we accept the problem. But what do we do when it's good? Because you don't really have to solve a problem there, do you? Because excitement isn't a problem. Well, any emotion overdone by an alcoholic is bad news. That includes excitement. Now, that doesn't mean I don't want you to be in a good mood. That's not what I'm saying. So what do we do when it comes to excitement? Double down on God. Go do what you just did. Go repeat what you did. And that should keep you away from the drink. That'll be, because what are you going to get out of it? Well, you had that spiritual experience probably because you helped another person. So if you get out of yourself and you go help another person, you are going to experience that again. This is insanity in reverse. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting the same result. Yes. That turns into sanity. All right. Because we're not expecting a different result now. We know the result that we're going to get out of helping another person. So, bad feelings, we search for why. We come up with a solution. Good feelings, double down on God. But both of these are going to require action. And the best action is intensive work with other alcoholics. It's the best action. Not the only one. Okay. Well, Dion, I haven't finished the program. I can't go. Yeah, yes, you can. Sure, you can. I like the way my friend Amber describes it. Her sponsor told her at a week, now you can go out and help people. Now you can go out and help people. And she's like, but I got 7 days. I don't know what I'm doing. And he brought up some good point. And you know where to get a big book. You know how to find an AA meeting. You know how to do the first step. Yes, you can help people. You know how to pour coffee. You know how to read from a big book. You know how to read the daily reply. See, I had named off a bunch of things that you could do. Yeah. Expand your mind. All right, let's do the reflection portion on this, and then we're going to wrap it up. I'll probably be back in a little bit just because I will be. I'll probably do what are the yets. So a little bit of repeating here. If more gifts are to be received, our awakening has to go on. As Bill sees it, page 8. Sobriety fills the painful hole in the soul that my alcoholism created. So that God-sized hole. Now, you know what I'm talking about, that pit, that big open pit in your stomach that nothing seems to fill. Mine was there way before I started drinking. It's that hole was always there. Okay. So my God-sized hole, and for this person, maybe it happened afterwards, but for me, for a lot of us, it was there way before, and I used alcohol to try and fill it. See, for a long time, alcohol was my higher power. I believed in it. I had faith in it. It was always there for me. It answered me whenever I called, whenever I asked it for help. It was there, ready and available. So in the beginning, when I was drinking, I had faith. I had faith that the alcohol was going to numb me so I didn't have to feel the feelings. And even to this day, some days I'm like, I just don't want to feel feelings today. That can't really be avoided. So what do I do on those days? I go back to basics. Steps 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. They're foundation steps for a reason. Some days, all I have is steps 1, 2, and 3, and that's okay. I can still find peace and serenity in those days because I have a good foundation. Now, the days that I'm doing well, those are the days I work on my foundation, so that the days that I'm not doing so well, I have a good foundation. And what do I do? For me, it's about consistency. I do the same things almost every day. Now, is that going to get boring? It might. So spice it up with then do something a little different. But I have a pattern. All right. Now, I have to be flexible in that pattern, or people will come along and disrupt my day, and I'll get all pissy about it. That's the one. In the beginning, that was the one thing that just irritated the hell out of me, interrupting my personal time. It was something I was very, very selfish about. And I still kind of am. Yeah. I decompress every day, at least 2 hours. And what is decompressing? I'll tell you what I do. I play video games, or I watch shows I've watched before. So I don't have to think about it. I'm just tuning my mind out. I need that distraction. I need the distraction. I usually play games with a lot of puzzles in them. Right now, I'm playing Spider-Man, right? So I have to think a little bit, but puzzles are pretty straightforward for me usually. But then what am I doing? Well, then I'm challenging myself, learning new things. Well, this goes this way, that goes that way. Well, how's this puzzle going? And see what that does, it separates my mind so my subconscious can work on the things that it needs to work on. Yeah, works out well for me. Yeah. Maybe just go sit in the backyard for 15, 20 minutes. Now, I'm fortunate in the fact that, my children are grown. They don't really need my attention. So that might work different for you. That'll change when you get older. That'll change. Right? So that hole in the soul that my alcoholism created, often I feel so physically well that I believe my work is done. Yeah, I fell for that trap once. I'm never going to again. Now you know what I want? More. I'm a guy that likes to feel good. I'm an alcoholic. We want to feel good. And I think that substances provide that with me when really it's an inside job. We're going to go back to that helping other people. I get a high. All right. I get elated when I do this. I get elated when I help somebody. Well, that's a healthy high. And it doesn't hurt anybody. In fact, it makes the world a better place. And so, however, joy is not just the absence of pain, it is the gift of a continued spiritual awakening. And these are going to be up to you. These spiritual awakenings have to do with how honest, open-minded, and willing you are. All right. Like today, we were talking on Take 12. We were talking about sponsorship. And everybody kind of sponsors differently. That's kind of the beauty of AA. Whereas, Roger and Monty, they take them through in like a week. Mine a year. We couldn't have been more opposite, but we agreed on one thing. It's about the person, it's about the person being helped, not the sponsor. Right. And that's exactly why I want to go. They invited me to go to a convention in Malibu. I'm like, Malibu sounds nice. All right. And go and learn a different way of how somebody else sponsored, because I tend to sponsor the way I was sponsored. And I don't want to just stay in that group. I want to be able to help more people. So I'm going to go figure out different ways to sponsor people so I can help more people. Right. So then the goal will be to have other conventions here for people to go through the steps in 2 to 3 days with me. And I will teach them how to do it. and I will pay it forward like that. Good morning, Michelle. It's or good afternoon, Michelle. It's good to see you. Joy comes from the ongoing active study, as well as the application of the principles of my recovery in my everyday life, and from sharing that experience with others. Yeah, got to give it away. Of course, I'm wrapping up, and now everybody's showing up. I am. I'm kind of wrapping up here, so unless you guys beg me to stay and do something else. Oh, in my everyday, and then you got to give it away. If you do not freely give away what was given to you, there are consequences to that, and they're not good. They're not good. You're going to get the same consequences you got when you were drinking. Freely give it away. All right? My higher power presents many opportunities for deeper spiritual awakening. I need only to bring into my recovery the willingness today. Man, I skipped over a word. Always do that. I need only bring into my recovery the willingness to grow. All right? It's just a willingness to grow, to be a better person. All right? Today, I'm ready to grow. Yeah. Take that action. Become a better person. It's all right. It's okay. All right? You're going to find that there's a lot of odd fellows in AA. I happen to be one of them. It's part of what makes me fit in there. Yeah. All right. That's going to be it for this one. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out. And have a day.